alleged assault cases coming up for Conor McGregor that just so happened to keep on getting adjourned since 2018 because of upcoming bouts that never come to fruition. And this weekend, 1 month out from the actual case where the judge said that it must happen next month, Conor is announcing a fight with Dan Hooker. What a crazy weekend for Conor McGregor. It's actually hard to keep up with the amount of stuff that has happened. We jumped from Thursday/Friday talking to the Schmo where he was completely coherent to Friday, Saturday, Sunday where he's calling out Ilya Topuria for not being Spanish. He's grabbing the microphone off the owner of Bare Knuckle Boxing, offering people double their pay. He's pulling Skanky Yokes' hair, getting caught by his wife. He called out KSI and laughed at his song.
I'll fight him for that bullshit song he released alone.
Fuck all your fans and fuck you.
Huge announcement for 3 or 4 upcoming fights on the weekend. And whilst researching these fights, I actually came across a little article that slid in underneath the radar and gives us a really good insight into why he keeps announcing his comeback fight and never actually getting to it. Bear with me for that one. Before we jump into these crazy ass stories, if you could hit like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. I've also added another tier to the membership. It's a little bit more affordable. If you could help me out over there, that would be awesome as well. So as I said, we might as well start with the Schmo appearance on the weekend. It was an exclusive interview. The Schmo arrived in there. There was a sense of aura in the room when he got to meet Conor McGregor. Conor started talking and it sounded like he just came off a bender. It sounded like he came off a 3-dayer. The throat was gone, but he was sober. And that's something that we haven't seen a lot in the last couple of months in terms of him being out in public. Again, it comes down to PR. I don't know who's promoting him. I don't know who's advising him or whether he would take advice from anyone. But in fairness, if you're a professional fighter and you're constantly announcing your comeback fight, the least you could do is look sober maybe once or twice a month or something like that.
Yeah, now looking for the date. Hopefully, I'd like to square it away with Michael Chandler. You know, I'd like to get Chandler in. We've had our beef. It's not settled. He has a match scheduled. I'd like to fight maybe before that, or before he's recovered or whatnot. So, there's a few names in the line at the minute.
And obviously the takeaway from that clip was, wow, he's actually sober. He sounds almost like the old Conor, but I don't think we'll ever reach that level again because he's suffering from withdrawals or just the substance abuse has taken its toll on his body. He's very jittery even when he is sober. He can't really form sentences without like stopping and stammering and things like that. So that's the thing I guess we're just going to have to get used to. And also he's talking about Michael Chandler, which didn't even make sense, to be honest with you. He was talking about, we have unfinished business. I know he has a fight. I know that I want to get a fight in before that, or maybe if he's recovered. None of it made sense. And I think at this stage everybody knows that fight's not happening and no one's really interested in that fight. Like, come on. He invited the Schmo over to Marbella for the Bare Knuckle Boxing event, so we just knew that there was going to be some ensuing chaos that was going to happen, and it happened. One of the funnier takes of the weekend was him going after KSI.
You called out KSI a few times. Could we ever see that fight down the line?
Let's go, man.
Any messages for KSI?
I'll fight him for that bullshit song he released alone. I'll fight him for that fucking song alone.
And I don't know if anybody has seen the reaction from KSI to people disliking his song.
I want it to stop. I want people to stop making fun of my song. No, you don't fucking understand because you haven't released a song before. This isn't funny. Let me guess, 1 second in, cringe.
It's been outlandishly funny. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like a propaganda thing to kind of promote his song, but he's serious. And it really does say a lot in terms of where we are socially, that KSI, Logan Paul and Mr. Beast are millionaire/billionaires, that the entire population under the age of 25 are watching these losers on a daily basis. These influencers are like the driving force of young people's zeitgeist at the moment. It's a weird dichotomy because they're billionaires making so much money off of the views and the influence they have on our children and on our youth. And what do they promote collectively? Mr. Beast will be forever known as the dude who harbored and promotes this LGBTQ transgender mafia. Logan Paul gets famous by filming dead bodies and crying about BLM. And KSI then of course has the forehead and the laugh.
That's the maddest laugh I've ever heard in my life, mate.
and that's pretty much all he offers. So these guys are all super insecure, but they are very influential amongst the young people, and that's really, really sad to see. But what's sadder is that Conor is not only calling him out and has called him out on numerous occasions.
And I know your man KSI is in the crowd, yeah? And he couldn't box eggs if he worked in an egg boxing factory. So if he wants to get in here, I'll give him a final, bare knuckle if you want.
Conor used to be the double champ in the UFC. That's some respect that he earned. And do we feel like he has thrown it all away by calling out a guy who plays FIFA in his bedroom? Like, I don't know, man. It's absolutely crazy. But it was funny when he laughed at the song, and it was funny to see the reaction from Farad himself.
I'm literally describing my life. I've gone from YouTube to music to boxing to me being at the top of the game. That's the lyrics. It's my life. Why is people taking the piss?
That brings us to the pulling of the hair incident. This one was a bad one for me. Honest to God, this was a bad one for me. You're out in the town with your missus. She's standing 2 feet from you. You're pulling the hair of some skanky yoke, and she's like backing back into you, and you're ready to get in and do your best impression of Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing. And your bird spots you, and you know she spots you because you've got that "oh my god, I've been caught" look on your face. So then you try to cover it by grabbing her hair or pinching her arse, and it just looks awkward and cringe, and you didn't get one over on your missus, and you didn't get one over on the cameraman, and the millions, and I mean millions. I think one of the tweets that are actually showing this clip has like 10 million views. Nobody thought that this is the way we dance, this is the way we have fun with our colleagues at work. No one thought that. You were chancing a bird and you got caught because your own missus was like 2 feet away from you. Oh man, that one was a hard one to watch. Of all the videos of Conor being chazzed up and his shoulders flicking all over the place and his eyelashes flicking everywhere, they're all cringy and embarrassing, and listening to him trying to talk and recapture that like ignition and that fire from like 10 years ago, that's bad to watch, and it's hard to watch. Watching him get caught by his missus who was standing 2 feet away as he was grinding up on this yoke the other night, oh boys, that was a bad one. That was a bad one. Overall, it was another chazzed up crazy weekend from Conor McGregor. His head was actually out like a balloon. He looked like he had put on about 15 stone in weight, and he was grabbing microphones off the owner of Bare Knuckle, and he was telling people that they were doubling their pay and they were going to get double their purse, and that's all very good and well, fair play to you for that. But it does feel like a lot of what you did, like 100% of what you did, was narcissistic and about you. It was another way to get back into the centre of the limelight, standing up in the weigh-ins, jumping into the middle of fighters. And he followed that up by getting into the octagon, having a conversation with Dan Hooker. That was kind of cool to see. But then we got the huge announcement of his upcoming fight with Dan Hooker on the 1st of February in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how you're supposed to take that news, because from Thursday to Sunday he had 4/6 different new opponents. First of all, he was talking to the Schmo and he said it was Michael Chandler. Then it was Dan Hooker definitively. Then it quite possibly could be Floyd Mayweather. He's looking to get a fight set up with Floyd. He's talking about fighting Belal Muhammad. He wants to bust his left hand off of his temple for some reason. And in the middle of all that, he's calling out KSI as well. And you're just going, is this another weekend of Conor McGregor trying to recapture the limelight by calling everybody on the planet out? Why is he doing this? Why is it happening? Whilst looking up articles about him pulling hair of skanky yokes and fighting KSI, I came across this one little article that was just breezed in there. No one else spotted it, I don't think. Woman's damage claims for alleged assault against Conor McGregor due to be heard next month. Action had been postponed to allow the MMA star to take part in a comeback UFC bout against Michael Chandler. And I thought, alright, yeah. So I did that big video on Conor McGregor and all these allegations. I'll put a link down below. So we know that there's court cases ongoing that keep getting postponed, keep getting adjourned. So if we read down here, we'll see that this case has been going on since 2021 by a young woman who allegedly had known McGregor. I covered that whole story in detail. You can go back and watch that video, as I said. So this was due to be heard in June or July. It was put back because McGregor succeeded in his application to adjourn the hearing to allow him to take part in the UFC comeback bout against Michael Chandler in Las Vegas. That contest, however, was cancelled by McGregor because of the broken toe. You remember the way we were all like suspicious about, first of all, the fight actually coming to fruition, but then the broken toe. And you're like, okay, what's going on? We were just all asking questions left, right and centre. But it seems that it worked out beautifully for this huge court case, this huge assault case. And when you read the details of that assault case, it doesn't look good for Conor McGregor, and he just managed to get an adjournment there because he has an upcoming comeback fight. Okay, so he gets the upcoming fight in the books for July, and he gets the adjournment granted, and then he bails out of the fight, and he buys himself another 6 months. So now the next court date is upon us. Apparently it's going to be November, and wouldn't you know, the council said that they are unhappy since the defendant indicated he was seeking another adjournment, this time to take part in a boxing match. The hearing counsel said that they had previously adjourned following an earlier request by Conor McGregor. But this time the judge told the court that he was well aware who Conor McGregor is and said that he's doing the plaintiffs a favour by listing the case for hearing during the civil jury session in November, as it would definitely go ahead then. The woman's claim against Conor McGregor is one of two initiated against the sportsman over events alleged to have taken place in Dublin in 2018. She also sued an associate of Mr. McGregor's. Okay, so let's fire out our conspiratorial take on these alleged assault cases coming up for Conor McGregor that just so happen to keep on getting adjourned since 2018 because of upcoming bouts that never come to fruition. And this weekend, 1 month out from the actual case where the judge said that it must happen next month, Conor is announcing a fight with Dan Hooker, and he's got to be in camp, and it's going to be happening in Saudi Arabia, so he's got to go over there and get into camp. So surely that's a great idea to put that forward through his lawyers, through his counsel, to the courts, and say that I can't do November because I'm in camp. And if that one doesn't work, well, I've got another iron in the fire with the Floyd Mayweather fight. That's going to be happening. People are signing on to it. We've got loads of press around it. So no matter what way you look at it, Conor is always going to have a fight upcoming. Always going to have that iron in the fire. There's always going to be a possibility of a bout, whether it's Bilal Muhammad, Michael Chandler, Floyd Mayweather, KSI. There's always going to be another fight announced. There's always going to be hype for that fight upcoming, because in the background, this case that's been going on since 2018 is almost reaching its culmination, which could end up with Conor McGregor being in serious trouble. That's my conspiratorial eye on the weekend that has just passed us by, with Conor McGregor going batshit crazy. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit like, subscribe and share. Cheers.